All right, let's get into the rest of the West, what those other three dweebs are up to. We'll start with the San Francisco 49ers. And I'll be honest, guys, I think I picked the Jaguars because I was a little bit bitter about that Monday Night Football game. I stand by it. I don't know if the 49ers are going to get it done like everybody else thinks they might. I don't know. I guess I'm in a situation here where the conversation has begun where it's, are the 49ers going to creep up on the Rams and steal that number 2 spot in the NFC West? And I'm not necessarily worried about that, at least quite yet. I think that the Rams' eyeballs are still set on the Arizona Cardinals sitting at the top. I think that that's where we're shooting for. So if that's the case, I don't think we're really that worried about what's happening behind us. What I can say is that the standings will remain the same because everybody's 2 games apart right now. So we'll at least see these standings for at least one more week. But the 49ers, there was something about these 49ers that I just don't trust. I don't trust this team right now. I have a hard time picking them, but also they're playing the Vikings this week. That's a hard team to pick too. So I really have no idea. I think if I'm not mistaken here, I think I went with the 49ers in this one on my picks on the NFC West Roundtable, which if you guys didn't check out, this week was on the AZ Sports Fan channel. So make sure you guys check it out there. But the 49ers did defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 30-10. I'll be honest, it feels like Jimmy is doing just enough to hold off Trey Lance. To the point where, if Trey Lance is going to be the starter there, unless, for some reason they just want him as trade bait, which wouldn't make any sense, but I don't think that's the case, by the way. It's just random thoughts here. But also, you're at the point now where if you pulled Jimmy, it would be like, well, he's doing fine, though. So what are you guys doing? So I don't know. But it does feel like he's doing just barely enough there. And then Brandon Nyuka, the wide receiver, is getting more and more involved as the season goes on. And I think that's a pretty big deal because we already know what Debo can do. Debo's been having a great season. He's sitting almost with Kupp on a lot of the stats. He's got, 22 more yards after catch than Kupp. But, it happens. But, Ayuk is getting more involved. And I think that's just going to make them a little bit more dangerous as the stretch happens. But like I said, I have a hard time trusting this team. There's something about this squad that I feel like they're going to have their good little gap here where they're playing some really good games for 3, 4, 5 weeks, and I think that's about it. So in Week 12, they will play the Minnesota Vikings. That will be in Santa Clara, and that game is at 1:25 p.m. on Fox. Let's head over to the Arizona Cardinals now, and they did play the Seahawks. We're going to do this from each perspective. So the Cardinals beat the Seahawks 23-13. Colt McCoy carries the Cardinals again. He was 35 of 44, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. And he's, it seems like these division games that Colt McCoy has played, he's playing some ball in these games for sure. So it's kind of interesting to see. And also the Cardinals were able to get to Russell Wilson 4 times. And this week, in Week 12, the Arizona Cardinals will be on a bye week, so they'll be resting up. Looks like we'll see D-Hop and Kyler Murray coming back after that bye in Week 13. And then the Seattle Seahawks, they did lose to the Arizona Cardinals. That score was 23-13. Russell Wilson sacked 4 times, no touchdowns again. All right, so Russ is not necessarily cooking. All right, it's Russ is having some struggles here. Struggle Wilson. That does not work as well as I wanted it to, but I still stand by it. So the last Russell Wilson touchdown was scored in the second quarter versus the Rams on Thursday Night Football in Week 5. So it's been a while. All right, and then also the Seahawks got absolutely toasted on time of possession. It was 1938 to 40-22. That's a massive gap there, right? And that's one thing that the 49ers have been doing really well lately is time of possession. They are controlling the game. In Week 12, the Seattle Seahawks will play at the football team, and that game is on Monday Night Football, actually. 5:15 kickoff on ESPN on Monday night. So a little bit of a long weekend for the Seahawks and the football team to hang out with their fam on this wonderful holiday weekend that we got coming up. Let's take a look at the standings real fast. First place, got the Arizona Cardinals, 9-2. The Rams sitting behind them, 7-3. And then below that, the bottom tier teams in the NFC West right now. You got the 49ers at 5-5 and the Seattle Seahawks at 3-7. If you guys are keeping track at home, no matter who wins what games this weekend, the Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, and Seahawks, that will be the same order heading into Week 13, as every team is 2 wins apart from each other. So, the Rams are still, they can obviously still get that number 1 spot away from the Arizona Cardinals. They could also lose that number 2 spot to the San Francisco 49ers. I do think that the Rams just had a little bit of a down stretch, and I think that they'll turn it around. Will it be against the Packers? I'm not 100% sure. But I do think that if the Rams were to lose these 3 straight and lose to the Packers, which would be Titans, 49ers, Packers, I don't think that necessarily defines the whole season. And I think that the Rams would still be able to come out on the back end, on that back stretch, and put together some dubs and go into the playoffs feeling pretty good about themselves. Because I do feel good that this team will make the postseason. I just don't know about the timing of when that postseason hits. So we just, it's almost good to have a little bit of a slump right now, because then you can gain that momentum back. Like, you really don't want to lose 2 straight or 3 straight going into the playoffs. You know what I mean? You want to be kind of feeling good about yourself as that hits. So there is time for the Rams to get to that point. Let's take a look at the playoff race here. The number 1 seed, Arizona Cardinals at 9-2. You got the Green Bay Packers below them at the 2 seed, 8-3. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Dallas Cowboys sitting with 7-3 records. Also with the LA Rams sitting with a 7-3 record, but not in position to get into those top 4 slots. Minnesota Vikings worked their way in with a 5-5 record, and the Saints dropped 1 spot from a week ago with a 5-5 record as well. So they are sitting at that number 7 seed. Teams just sitting on the outside. We got the 5-5 San Francisco 49ers and the 5-6 Eagles and Carolina Panthers. So if you guys are keeping track, then the Saints will play at the Packers, the Vikings would play at the Bucks, and the Rams would play at the Cowboys if the season were to end right now. One of the Rams' most exciting playoff wins of recent history did come against the Dallas Cowboys. That was a game where Anderson and Gurley just kind of went off. They both had over 100 rushing yards, so that was pretty fun. Not in a similar situation necessarily right now, but it's all good. It's just the Rams just aren't running as much as we would like to see them run the football. So the playoff race is getting pretty juicy, and there's so many teams playing well right now. I am feeling like the Rams are just going to hit that 5 seed, but I think it's going to be okay. Because we'll be playing probably at the Bucks or at the Cowboys, if I had to guess in that situation. Playing at the Bucks, that's definitely a scary thing. The Rams have already beaten the Bucks this year, but I think I said it to my sister at least, was like, yeah, that's awesome to get this win over the Bucks. Hope we don't have to play them again, though. Like, that's a scary thing. So playing at the Dallas Cowboys, that one scares me a lot less. I don't know if that's just my brain putting the Cowboys are not as good as they have been or what. But I do kind of feel that way in my heart. And then, either way, though, it's going to be a tough NFC playoff battle once that situation hits, because, we're in a situation now, and like why I'm not mad that the Rams would get the 5 seed if that is what happens, is you just got to get to the dance. Just get to the dance. That's all you need to do this season. There's so many good football teams, and the Rams have already dropped 2 at home. So I don't know. It's just one of those where you just make it to the dance. Anything can happen if you're in the playoffs. And that's all you need to do. I feel good that the Rams will be able to do that. So, what's up? I'm thankful for y'all, man. All right, on this side is going to be subscribe, if you guys have not done that already. And if you liked this clip, watch the whole thing. It's going to be on this side here. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Peace. Go Rams.